In this video, we're going to go over the 5 forms of hepatitis. I'm going to be making a separate video covering each type of hepatitis individually, and in that video I'll go into a bit more detail regarding the pathophysiology. This video is just meant to be a very quick review of each of them. So firstly, what is hepatitis? Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver, and the cause of it varies, so it can be due to viruses, alcohol intake, drugs, or various chemicals. So let's start with hepatitis A. It's caused by the hepatitis A virus, and it's able to spread via fecal contamination of objects like food or clothing. The route of this transmission is the fecal-oral route, and the symptoms associated with hepatitis A is loss of appetite, diarrhea, fever, nausea, malaise, and jaundice. The recovery time for hepatitis type A is around 6 weeks, and it doesn't cause permanent damage to the liver. Hepatitis B is caused by the hepatitis B virus, and it's spread mainly by sexual contact and contamination from syringes and blood transfusion equipment. It can also be spread via tears and saliva. The hepatitis B virus can be present for a lifetime, and it can result eventually in cirrhosis of the liver and potentially liver cancer. However, there are vaccines which are available to prevent the initial infection with hepatitis B. Hepatitis C is caused by the hepatitis C virus, and it's spread by blood-to-blood contact, and it's the most common type of hepatitis in the UK. It can lead to liver cirrhosis and potentially liver cancer, although sometimes hepatitis C is present without any symptoms or only flu-like symptoms. Hepatitis D is a disease which is caused by the hepatitis D virus, and this is an interesting type of hepatitis because you can only get hepatitis D if you have hepatitis B already. So the hepatitis D virus is sort of inside the hepatitis B virus. It's sort of incorporated inside. This is a bit more of a serious disease because the person will have both hepatitis D and B, so there's a greater risk of liver failure, and the disease tends to progress into liver cirrhosis a lot more quickly in comparison to the other hepatitis viruses. So there's an increased risk and progression to liver cirrhosis, and also an increased risk of developing liver cancer, especially if you've had it for a long time. That's why hepatitis D combined with hepatitis B has the highest mortality rate of all the hepatitis. The transmission of hepatitis D is going to be similar to that of hepatitis B, so people who are injecting drugs, sexual contact, and so on. And the last form of hepatitis we're going to talk about today is the hepatitis E virus. So this is similar to how hepatitis A is transmitted. So hepatitis E is transmitted via the fecal-oral route, so contamination of food or clothing with feces. The disease itself is quite self-limiting, so usually lasts between 2 to 8 weeks. This is considered an acute form of the infection. So the symptoms of viral hepatitis E would be jaundice, nausea, fatigue. When the disease progresses onto the chronic stage, the chronic form of hepatitis E is usually in those with a weakened immune system or pregnant women. Here we have a greater risk of fulminant liver failure or liver cirrhosis,